Ever feel like, life is kind of like this big maze, and we're all just running around trying to, find our way?
Yeah. I get that.
Well, that's kind of what we're looking at today. This book we're diving into today, it really offers a really interesting perspective on that whole feeling.
Yeah. And it's pretty amazing how, even a simple story can give us, really profound insights into some of life's biggest questions.
And the book we're tackling today, it's a classic. It's Who Moved My Cheese?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
by Dr. Spencer Johnson.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah.
With the little mice and little people running around.
Yeah, it's a classic parable.
Yeah. Don't let that kind of whimsical setup fool you, though.
Yeah.
It's really packed with some really great wisdom,
Mm.
stuff about how to adapt to change and find, new paths to happiness and success.
And I think what I find so fascinating about the book is how it emphasizes, the importance of really understanding ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and being able to respond to our needs as we kind of, move through life.
Yeah. So, okay, let's set the scene here.
Okay.
Imagine a maze. A maze
Right.
represents all the complexities of life. And then cheese is anything we're chasing after.
Yeah.
It could be like a fulfilling career, maybe a loving relationship, financial security.
It's really anything that we believe will bring us happiness, fulfillment.
Yeah.
And in this maze, we meet our main characters.
Okay.
We've got two mice,
Uh-huh.
Sniff and Scurry, and then two little people, Hem and Haw.
Okay, so we got 4 characters total.
Right, and they each represent, a different approach to how they try to find and keep cheese.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So what about these mice?
So Sniff and Scurry, they're all about instinct.
Okay.
Like, they're really quick to notice when their cheese supply is, dwindling, and even quicker to adapt when it's gone.
They just kind of like roll with it?
Exactly. Yeah, they just accept the new reality.
Yeah.
And scurry off to find new cheese, no drama.
Okay, so no drama.
Right.
What about the little people?
So Hem and Haw, now they're a lot more emotional, a lot more complex. They really get attached to their cheese.
Uh-huh.
So when it vanishes, they become, complacent and resistant.
So their initial reactions to change are not so good.
Yeah, denial, blame, even a sense of entitlement.
Yeah, I remember that line from him. I deserve this cheese.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this perfect illustration of how we can be so resistant to change, because we feel like we're entitled to something.
Yeah.
Or we're scared to let go.
Yeah, it's that clinging to the past, right? That refusal to acknowledge, our own needs are changing and things around us are changing. And that can really keep us stuck.
Yeah, it's like we're clinging to a job that we don't even like anymore, or a relationship that's not good for us.
Yeah.
All because we're scared to go into the unknown.
Exactly. And that's what Who Moved My Cheese is all about. It shows us how that fear can really paralyze us, but it also shows us how powerful it can be to acknowledge those fears and choose to move forward anyway.
Okay, so this brings us to Haw,
Yes.
because he actually changes.
Yeah.
He goes from being, scared and complaining to actually going out there and, looking for new cheese.
Right.
But it's not an easy journey for him.
It's not. But through that process, he really starts to understand himself and what he needs.
Yeah, and that's a big takeaway here. Right?
Absolutely.
Personal growth.
Yeah, it often involves discomfort and uncertainty.
But it's by embracing those challenges
Yeah.
that we unlock our true potential.
Exactly.
I like that. And one of the key things about Haw's transformation is that he starts to become more self-aware.
Oh, yeah.
He pays attention to his thoughts, his feelings, his behaviors.
Yeah.
And he sees the patterns that have been, holding him back.
Right. He starts to ask himself some tough questions.
Oh, like what?
Like, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? What are my true needs and desires? And this is crucial, for understanding what kind of new cheese will really fulfill us.
It's like he's finally, figuring out his internal compass and realizing that the old map he's been using might not be taking him where he wants to go. And that takes a lot of courage.
It does. Recognizing when our needs aren't being met, whether it's in a job, a relationship, a personal goal, it requires honesty and a willingness to confront maybe some uncomfortable truths about ourselves.
Yeah, it's like finally admitting that those old shoes,
Yeah.
even though they're comfy and familiar, they're not really serving us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for a new pair that fit our current, needs and aspirations.
Yeah. And it's interesting because Haw doesn't just stumble upon new cheese. He's actively looking for it. He doesn't wait for, someone to give him a new job or a new relationship. He takes charge of his own happiness.
Yeah, he goes after what he wants.
Exactly.
And it's that proactive approach, right?
Absolutely.
That willingness to take responsibility.
Right.
That ultimately leads to personal growth and real fulfillment.
I agree.
And as Haw's out there, in the maze, he starts to realize change doesn't have to be this scary thing. It can actually be kind of exciting.
It's an adventure, right?
Yeah, full of new possibilities, new discoveries.
And that shift in perspective is so important.
Okay.
Instead of seeing change as a threat, he starts to see it as a chance to grow and expand.
This is not just running from the discomfort of having no cheese. He's actually, pursuing something better.
Right, something that's more in line with his needs and desires.
Okay, so that's a great point. And it comes back to what we were saying before about being flexible and being able to respond to our own needs.
Exactly.
How he's willing to adapt, let go of old beliefs and behaviors that aren't working for him anymore.
Right.
And that allows him to embrace the uncertainty of the maze and find a new and better reality.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a really powerful message for all of us. This ability to adapt, to be flexible in our thinking, in our actions, is crucial for navigating the ever-changing landscape of life and ultimately finding our own new cheese.
I completely agree. So as Haw is going through the maze, he doesn't just run around blindly.
Right.
He actually starts leaving himself these little messages on the walls.
Oh, wow.
Almost like breadcrumbs of wisdom, you know?
I like that.
To guide his journey and remind him of what he's learning along the way.
Yeah.
And one message that really stuck with me was, smell the cheese often. So, when it is getting old, it's like this practical reminder to pay attention to those little shifts happening around us and within us, and to check in with ourselves, Is it still working for me?
Okay, so, is our current situation still meeting our needs?
Exactly.
It makes me think about how we get so comfortable sometimes in our routines, our jobs, our relationships even.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize when things start to feel stale or unfulfilling.
Plus, we're holding on to this cheese that's getting moldy. Yeah. We're too afraid to let go and find a fresh one. And this message, it's like a little nudge to be more mindful, to regularly ask ourselves, is this still serving me? Am I still growing here? Or am I just holding on out of fear or comfort?
It's a good question.
Yeah, it encourages us to be honest with ourselves about what we really need and want.
Even if it means making some tough choices.
Exactly. And that leads to another message.
Sure.
Anticipate change. Get ready for the cheese to move.
Oh, that's good.
It reminds us that change is a constant. So instead of being surprised by it, we can embrace it as just a natural part of life.
Yeah, like developing a more flexible mindset.
Exactly, yeah, a willingness to adapt and adjust as we go.
Instead of fearing the unknown, we can see it as this invitation to explore new possibilities. Maybe even discover hidden talents we didn't know we had.
Right, and sometimes that means letting go of what's familiar.
Oh, yeah, even if it feels safe.
Right, exactly.
So there's another message Haw writes on the wall.
Yeah.
The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese.
That's a good one.
It reminds us that holding on to the past can really prevent us from finding something better.
Yeah, whether it's a job we've outgrown or a belief system that's not serving us anymore.
Or an actual block of old cheese.
Right, exactly.
But letting go is just one part of it. We also have to actively go after what we want.
Yes, and Haw demonstrates this beautifully.
Okay.
He doesn't just wander aimlessly. He keeps his focus on finding new cheese. He even visualizes himself enjoying it.
Oh, wow.
And that keeps him moving forward.
It shows the power of intention and visualization.
Absolutely. When we can see what we want and believe we can achieve it, we unlock this incredible inner power.
It's like setting our internal compass toward our desired destination.
Exactly.
Trusting our gut to lead us there, even if the path isn't always clear.
Right. And as Haw goes deeper into the maze, he has this realization that change doesn't have to be something we just endure. It can be an adventure to enjoy. He writes, enjoy change. Savor the adventure and enjoy the taste of new cheese.
I love that.
It's like a reminder to find joy in the journey,
Yeah, embrace the unexpected. See change as an opportunity for growth and discovery.
Right, not just a source of stress.
And that positive outlook can make such a difference.
Absolutely. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, we can choose to see the potential benefits.
The new skills, we might learn new people, we might meet new perspectives.
Exactly.
So as Haw keeps going, he realizes something else.
Oh, what's that?
Change isn't just a one-time thing.
Right.
It's a continuous process.
It's ongoing.
He writes, "Move with the cheese," acknowledging that if we stay stuck in one place, we'll end up unhappy.
It's a great metaphor for how important it is to keep learning, keep growing, keep adapting.
Yeah, just like the cheese in the maze can move. So can the circumstances in our lives. To thrive, we got to be flexible and willing to take on new challenges.
Exactly. It's all about recognizing that personal growth is a lifelong journey.
Not a destination.
Right. Even when we find that new cheese, we got to stay aware. Smell the cheese often.
Right.
Be ready to adapt when things change again.
Okay, so this brings us to the discussion after the story,
Yes.
where these former classmates are talking about the parable and how it relates to their own lives. And they're trying to figure out which character they're most like.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, because it shows how we all approach change in different ways.
Some people are more adaptable, like Sniff and Scurry.
Okay.
Others are more resistant, like Hem. And a lot of us were like,
Yeah, a mix of both.
we might start off resisting,
Right.
but eventually we realize we need to change.
And even the biggest skeptic in the group, Richard,
Oh, yeah?
who thought the story was too simple at first,
Uh-huh.
he ends up admitting it actually applies to his life.
He does. He talks about how visualizing new cheese and focusing on the positive side of change helped him overcome some of his fears.
It's amazing how a shift in perspective can make such a big difference.
It really can. Our mindset is so powerful.
It determines how we experience those challenging situations. So if we approach change with fear and resistance,
Yeah,
we're going to feel stuck and overwhelmed.
most likely.
But if we embrace it with curiosity and openness, then we open ourselves up to all these new possibilities.
And opportunities for growth.
So the main message here is that we have a choice.
A choice in how we respond to change.
We can hold on to the past, or we can embrace the adventure of finding something new and fulfilling.
And it's about realizing that we're not just victims of circumstance.
Right.
We have the power to create our own lives.
So by being self-aware, being flexible, and being open to the unknown, we can navigate the maze with confidence and find the cheese that truly nourishes us. As we're wrapping up our deep dive into Who Moved My Cheese, I'm really struck by how relevant this book still is.
Yeah, I know.
Even though it came out a while ago.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like the message about personal growth and change. It's just so timeless.
It really is, and I think it's because the story is so simple.
Right.
You know, it's easy to understand,
Yeah.
but the wisdom behind it, it applies to so many different situations in life.
Yeah, like career changes, relationships.
Personal growth.
Yeah, like figuring out who we are.
Exactly.
One of the biggest things I took away from this book
Okay.
is that we're in charge of our own happiness.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're not just wandering around lost in the maze.
You have choices.
Yeah, we have the power to decide how we react, how we adapt, you know, and ultimately what happens to us.
It's about recognizing our own power.
Right.
We're not victims.
Yeah.
We can create the life we want.
And Who Moves My Cheese gives us a really practical way to do that.
Right. It encourages us to be self-aware.
Yeah.
To really understand our needs and desires. And to notice when our cheese might be getting stale.
Like it might be time for a change.
Exactly.
It's about being honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what really makes us happy.
Yeah.
And having the courage to let go of things that aren't working anymore.
Even if it's scary.
Yeah. Even if it means stepping into the unknown.
And letting go can be so freeing.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
like taking off a heavy backpack, you know, it's been weighing us down.
Right. And then suddenly,
And it can move more freely.
yeah, we can become our true selves. And as we go through these changes and grow, the book reminds us to have fun with it.
Oh, yeah. Have an adventure.
Be curious.
Enjoy the process.
Instead of being afraid of the unknown, we can see it as a land of opportunity.
Full of possibilities.
Yeah. New things to learn, new people to meet,
A chance to grow and expand.
and that shift in perspective.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference.
It really does.
It changes everything.
Instead of seeing change as a loss, we see it as a chance to gain something new and better.
So as we finish up this deep dive into Who Moved My Cheese,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay.
What new cheese are you looking for in your life? What steps can you take today to embrace change,
Yeah.
to listen to your own needs.
And to create a life that truly fulfills you.
You know, a life that feels authentically you.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, and remember, the maze might seem confusing at times,
Mm-hmm.
but you have the map. You know, you have the power to navigate it.
You can find your way.
You can find those hidden paths.
And create a journey that's both meaningful and delicious.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this cheesy adventure.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing,
Mm-hmm.
and keep moving with the cheese.
Absolutely.